This is a Jabiru 3300A engine. It's 120 horsepower. It's one of the lightest engines that you can use if you're building a CH750 STOL. Everything went on just the way it should. The one big issue with the 3300 engine is a cylinder head cooling. We're not having any problems with cylinder head cooling at all because we took the time to adjust the baffles, trim baffles where it was too cool, and add baffles where it was too hot. We added tabs here to kind of take up space. There's a little rubber tab on a piece of aluminum to kind of block wasted air from escaping in the back. There's baffles on the side because this is a source of wasted air. We also, in order so that we could take the plenums off and have the wiring stay in place, we cut this out, put a little O-ring and then a little additional piece of metal to take up the space so we can pull the plenums to make adjustments and the wiring stays right in place. We also there's cooling baffles. You're supposed to have 1.25 inch holes on both sides to allow some air to come into the middle of the engine and help cooling inside. Because the right bank was running warmer than the left bank, I actually made the left bank a bigger hole, and then the right bank was a smaller hole. Now I've even covered it up with plastic so that there's no escaping, so all the air is coming from the left side because we've got excess air that's not used on that side. This little baffle here, because the front cylinder was running so much cooler, it was like, well, it never would even go up to 300 degrees, while the back two were hot. By putting this baffle in front of the cylinders, and in fact this is the second baffle because I had trimmed a little too much from the one, so I added this back, and we're experimenting. Sometimes as little as 1/8 of an inch trim can make a 10-degree difference in your cylinder head temperatures. So we now have the front and the rear cylinders are almost exactly the same temperature. Still, the center cylinder is a little cooler than the others. So, but I mean, it's well within 20 degrees, so it's really not an issue. Again, on this side, we put a baffle here, a little piece of rubber on aluminum with some pop rivets to take up that excess space. And in the back here, same thing. There's about 1/2 inch of excess space that we got rid of by putting some aluminum and angle aluminum and some rubber material, all pop riveted in place. Haven't really had any problems with the motor. Well, the starter's off because the starter's not on the motor because for some reason the bearings were going bad in the starter, so I shipped it back and they're going to evaluate it and hopefully they'll send me a new starter. I don't see any reason why that starter should have failed at 137 hours.
Good customer service.
And
Jabiru?
Yeah, Jabiru's a good company, and they're good to their customers. Again, you've got to take care of your motor. It's not a set it and forget it. You gotta tinker with it, and if you tinker with it, you'll have success.
And what's the model again?
It's a 3300A Jabiru. It's 120 horsepower. 3300 cc. It's like a little over 200 cubic inches. Because the engine's so light, you'll notice that the engine mount has to be real. The engine's spaced way out from the firewall because to get the proper balance, the engine had to be way out in front. It actually makes the cowl. The cowl on this is the nicest looking cowl of any of the firewall forward setups. We're real happy with how things are working.